We have seen what procedural programming is. Before we go further and talk about object oriented programming, let's see how class works. Class has two types of member. One which are variables and other which are functions. Variables are called data member of the class and functions are called member function of that class. Okay, there are three visibility modes in class: private, public and protected. We have used only two, private and public. Any data member or member function which has been defined inside private is called private data members or private member functions. Here we have only x and y data member has been defined inside private. So here x and y are private data members, and these four functions also belong to this class is called member functions. Since this belong to public visibility mode, so these functions are public. Okay, main is a non-member function. Main is not a member of this class point. Only there are three member functions: get data, set data, add data. Main is nothing for this class. Main is external user. Main is again user of this class. Main is not a member of this class. In main, we have defined three variables: point p1, p2 and p3 of data type point. Okay, and each of these variables in here you can call a variable as an object also. So each of these variables has different x and different y, but see here, x and y belong to private section. So inside main, if we write cin p1 dot x, this produce an error because although p1 has a x as a data member, but this data member is private, and private data member cannot be used in a non-member function. Main is the non-member function for point and x is the private member, so it cannot be used inside non-member function. This p1 dot x can be used only the three functions get data, set data and add data here only, and nowhere we can use this. In nowhere in the main we can create a variable of type point and use like this p1 dot x, because x is a private member. Okay, then after what we are doing, we are calling p1 dot set data. This is how we call this function, set data. We can call set data from main, a non-member function, because set data is member function whose visibility mode is public. Since set data is public, then it can be called using object from non-member functions. So main can call set data. When main calls set data, then see here we are doing cin x inside set data. It has not been written whose x. It is p1 dot x, p2 dot x, whose x it is. The object which is calling the set data, the shaded x belong to that object only. Okay, here p1 is calling set data, so cin x belongs to p1 dot x. Cin x is same as cin p1 dot x. Who is calling the set data? X belong to that object and y belong to that object also. Okay, so ultimately here we are taking input as p1 dot x and p1 dot y. Okay, by calling p1 dot set data. Then here we are calling p2 dot set data. Here p2 object is calling set data, so only x and only y belong to p2. Okay, so ultimately we are taking p2 dot set data. If you have a member function in which you have written only x and only y and operating on only x and only y, then this only x and only y belongs to that object which has been called the function. Means p2 has been called set data, so this only x, this only y belong to p2 only. Okay, this only x belong to p2 ka x and this only y belong to y of p2. Then after we called p3 dot add data p1 comma p2. Okay, p1 will be copied into p4 by call by value. p2 has been copied into p4 by call by value. Then we are writing here x is equal to p4 dot x plus p5 dot x. Again it has been written only x. If it has been written only x, means x of the caller. Okay, here p3 is calling add data, so only x is p3 dot x. So ultimately we are adding p4 dot x. p4 means p1, okay, because p1 has been copied into p4. p5 means p2 because p2 has been copied into p5. So p1 dot x, x of p1 has been added into x of p2 and this all has been stored into x of p3 because p3 is calling at data, only x is x of p3. Since p3 is calling at data, only y is y of p3. Okay, I hope you understand. Then our next statement is p3 dot get data. Since p3 has been called get data, so only x is x of p3. We are doing output of p3 and only y is y of p3. Okay, now run this program. Everything okay? One, two, three, four, working fine. This is all about class. This you should know before we discuss about object oriented concepts. This is all about this video. See you in next video. Bye.